In this presentation, we're going to review the process of inserting blocks. The first thing you're going to want to do to insert a block is go up to the Insert pull-down menu, click Insert, and then click on Block. That brings up the Insert dialog box. In the Insert dialog box, there will be several areas that you need to specify before insertion. The first thing you need to do is select the name. Xbox appears in the drop-down box in the name area. It appears there because this is the exact same file that I used when I created the presentation for creating blocks. So I have Xbox and Red Xbox in the memory of this drawing. After you selected the name, that's why it's important that you use descriptive names so that you can identify it by name, then go to the area where you selected an insertion point. You can either specify the insertion point on the screen, which is usually the method of insertion. The only time that you'll use the X, Y, and Z coordinates would be something like a title block. Otherwise, that should always be with a checkbox in it. Then for the scale area, you have specify on screen also. Typically, this is not specified on the screen because your blocks are made full scale, and upon insertion, usually you can insert them on a scale of 1 to 1. The only thing that I probably would check in that area is it's very typical to have a uniform scale. So I'll go ahead and check that box. In the rotation area, you can specify that on the screen, or you can type in the angle at this point. At this time, I'm going to specify that on the screen as well. Then block units, you can see it defaults to inches because that's the way that we created the Xbox block when we created it. If you want to explode the block upon insertion, you would go over here to the lower left-hand corner and click on Explode. At this time, I'm going to leave that checked off so that you can see that it's going to insert it as a block, and then we'll come back and try it. So I'm going to hit OK. It brings up my drawing, and notice that I have a hold of the block based on its insertion point. When I click a point on the screen, next thing it jumps to is rotation angle. How do I want that block rotated? So if I want it rotated at 45 degrees, I can rotate it and insert it at 45 degrees. And then the insert command ends. So that's the basic premise of inserting blocks. Let's walk through those steps one more time. I go up to Insert, Block, identify the name as Xbox, insertion point is specified on screen, scale is inserted at a 1-to-1 uniform scale. Then for rotation, I'm not going to specify it on the screen. I'll leave the angle at 0 degrees. I click OK, and now I can insert that block anywhere by picking a point on the screen, and it inserts that block at that location. Again, note that it's a block. When I click on it, it's all one entity. Hit Escape to clear the grips. Let's try it one more time. I go to Insert, Block, and this time I'm going to explode that block. So I'm going to leave all the other settings default. I hit Explode, click OK, specify my insertion point, and now my object is all separate entities again. So that is the basic instructions for inserting blocks. Please let me know if you have any questions.